So I just wanted to get to know how has your experience been so far in India, and what do you think of the response to your visit and the love for basketball here?
I think it's been fantastic. Anytime you get a chance to visit another country, I think there are a lot of pluses out of that. It's an opportunity to visit folks, but more importantly, to spread the word of basketball and what it can do for you. I always tell kids this back in the States is that basketball has allowed me so much in life. It allowed me to get an education. It allowed me to travel the world. And even after I'm done with it, it still allows me to travel the world and now educate others on my experiences so that they may be able to utilize something from that.
Right. But tell us a little bit about your playing career. You spent the first few years with teams in Europe and in the NBA, and then you settled down for your last 9 seasons with the Spurs. So what made you so valuable for the Spurs to keep you with them, and how did you find your niche in the Spurs roster?
Well, it's just like anything in life. Whenever there's a door closed in your face, if you're looking for a job, it doesn't allow you to stop. I wasn't drafted. That didn't bother me because that was the reality. And so I think sometimes today's kids are not dealing with reality enough. People tell them how great they are, and when they have a setback, they don't look at it as an opportunity to grow. I utilized France as an opportunity to grow as a basketball player. I utilized the CBA as an opportunity to get to my final destination, which was the NBA. Too many times you have a lot of kids in the U.S., they crumble under certain failures. They don't utilize the failure as an opportunity to learn and to become better. And so as I was in NBA, it was a different game. In college, I had to improve, and that was the biggest difference from all the things that I went through. I needed to improve as a player. So I like to think that I improved in France or in CBA and continue the process even in the NBA. And once I got to San Antonio, it just so happened that everything kind of clicked. My brand of basketball fit their style,
right.
And because of that, it allowed me to be there as long as I was, continuously trying to make sure that each and every day or each and every year I get better.
Right.
I don't ever come to a point where I just kind of, oh man, he's not even working hard anymore. I want to get better each and every season.
Right. And Coach Pop is obviously considered one of the greatest coaches of all time. Mm-hmm. So how was it playing with him and also playing with the big three, Tim, Tony, and Manu?
It was. Pop is a very simple individual. He's a lot like uncle or grandfather to you that kind of just, he doesn't say too much, and your friends are always looking at him like, hey, why does he look so mean? Why does he look this way? Why does he look that way? But in the reality of it all, it's just he doesn't take himself too seriously. He understands it's the little things in life that are valuable, and it's important for NBA players to understand that. And that's what he's continuously stressing, in an environment of basketball. He's not the type of individual that's going to promote himself. All he asks for you to do is your job. Whatever your job is, if it's knocking down three-point shots, shoot the three-pointer. Don't try to become something else. And that's where players get in trouble. Players always think a lot more of themselves than they are.
Yeah.
And so that's where the issues happen. But he has an uncanny way of just continuously, communicating what he wants to people. And that uncanny way is direct. I want you to do this.
Right.
Instead of going around different places.
It's blunt to the point.
Right to the point.
Okay.
And that's, you have now you can't say, I didn't understand you.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where when that happens, boom, you understand what you're dealing with in a coach like that.
Right.
As far as Tim, Tony, and Manu, I always thought it was hilarious. Maybe after our second championship, they started saying the big three. And it was funny because, it wasn't necessarily about the three. It was about individuals helping one another to make sure that, we could help one another to the point where success happens. And it's just that I get it that it hasn't been a group that has been together that long where you can continuously say, hey, the big three of San Antonio is doing this and doing that. You need that in order to win in the NBA. So It's great to have been a part of that, but the most important thing that I take from that experience is how we didn't want to let one another down. It was more or less about, if I'm late, I'm letting them down.
Right.
So I have to do my job because they're doing their job. And so if they're doing their job, then we all hold one another accountable.
Right. Okay, you were considered one of the premier defensive stoppers in the NBA, all NBA teams, several seasons, defensive team. So how did you prepare for your defensive matchups and video footage, statistics?
It was a lot of videos. I'm not big on stats.
Okay.
I didn't look at stats and say, oh, okay, I can do this. I needed to see it.
Right.
So watching tape on a player, I knew Kobe's tendencies. I knew that late in the game, he's going to go to his strength. In the beginning of the game, guys may try different moves, but we're all creatures of habits. And in intense situations, we go to our strengths. And so no matter what, I know where you want to go because of what I've watched.
Kobe was the right elbow.
If he had the ball at the top of the key, he wanted the right elbow.
Yeah.
And if he didn't get separation, he was going to pump fake,
Right.
get you up.
Yeah.
Dirk Nowitzki loved his left hand, still loves his left hand. So, if I could keep Dirk from getting to that left hand, then my odds of affecting his shot was going to be greater. And that's what it all boils down to, is trying to put guys in an uncomfortable situation. So if I know Kobe wants the ball at the elbow, I'm going to try to push him out to the three-point line.
Right.
So now I can take a step back because he doesn't necessarily want to pull up for the three. He wants to get something going to the basket. So it's all about preparation. Anything in life is about preparation, whether you're in school or preparing for a new job. It's all about the preparation. You study, and that's the same thing I did. I studied what they did. I saw, how fresh they were, after, if they got a day's rest before me, I knew I was going to get a good player. But I know if they're coming in off a back-to-back, then I have to jump on them early because, they're a little fatigued, and maybe if I wear on them, then they'll say, okay, that's enough. Next night I'll be okay. But it's all about preparation in so much and understanding exactly where you are and what you're doing with someone.
So who do you think was the toughest to guard?
Michael Jordan was the toughest to guard. I mean, that's hands down because of his ability to think on the floor. Michael was a student of the game. He knew what you wanted to do, and he knew how you defended. He knew some of your strengths as far as what you wanted to do, but he was going to enforce his will of what he was going to do because he was that good. And he had a never quit attitude. All the other guys that I played against, they quit at some point. They may not say it, but I knew because I was dealing with them. I was very observant, and I know that when Kobe catches the ball and he just swings it to someone else, I know that I've won.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. So the IMG Alliance is planning a professional league in India soon, around 2016, and the focus has been on other sports lately in India. The soccer league we just started has become big, and you see a lot of former players, soccer stars, who have now retired from international football, but then they're coming to India to play in the league here. So if you seem like you're in top shape. So if you were given an opportunity to play in a league in India whenever it starts, would you be interested?
Whenever it starts. Now, how long is the league going to last? That's what I gotta know. No, I think it's something you always gotta listen. You gotta listen to hear what they have to say, because you never want to close the door on anything. But I think if anything, I think I can help more or less. Maybe talking to guys as compared to being out there on the floor.
Like a mentor or coach?
Like a mentor, yes,
Yeah.
front office or something, because they get me on and they say, hey, I thought he used to play defense. He's not doing anything.
Speaking coming back to defense, I mean, the NBA and the defensive rules have changed a bit. I mean, now shooters have the right to the landing space. I mean, defenders can't come in the way or encroach into their space. And generally, the rules have become stricter on body contact. So, what do you think? Has the NBA gone soft, or what do you think of this?
No, I don't think they've gone soft. I think it's just, I think more of the players have become a lot more soft. Because there are rule changes every single year I was in the NBA. as far as defense was concerned. I remember there was no hand checking anymore, or
Yeah.
it's called tactile touch. So you could touch a guy, but you just couldn't guide him. So it's all about just staying within the confines of the rules. So during training camp, you would have your coaches tell you exactly what you could or could not do. So as you're going through defensive drills and you do something that you're not supposed to, you can't do that. We got to play defense like this. And so I find that when I hear people complain about the new rules of whatever it is, it's only because they didn't prepare for it.
Right.
Now, if you're preparing for the things that you should, then there's no excuses out there. So don't make excuses. Just abide by the rules.
Right.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it's simple. So let's talk a little bit about the NBA today. I mean, the season. Are you following the NBA, and who do you think? What are your predictions for this season?
Yes, I follow the NBA. It's been fantastic being here right now because on Sony 6, in the mornings they're showing 2 games, so I get a chance to stay on top of what's going on in basketball. It's tough to say who's going to win each and every year because you don't want to discredit what other teams are doing.
Right.
I mean, you look at a team like everyone's talking about Cleveland right now. And number one, I don't like just jumping on the same wagon everybody else is on. I want to see them say Chicago then. I'm saying Chicago. So, but in honesty, Chicago has a very good ball club with Al Gasol there.
Yeah.
You take the pressure off Derrick Rose. You have a lot of role players that will be good with him, like Kirk Heinrich, Dunleavy, Doug McDermott. You have that in Chicago, but most importantly, you have Joakim Noah there as well.
Defense, yeah.
There you go. You got a guy that can defend, but also he's not just a defender. He's an offensive guy that knows how to do things. And once he and Powell get to know one another, I think they're going to have a special bond there. Cleveland is good too, but it's going to take time. Kevin Love, I'm not necessarily sold on his scoring. In Minnesota, it was big points there, but there was nobody else there.
Right,
His
no
points were empty. Yeah, there's no support. And so now you add Kyrie Irving to the mix, two guys that have never been in the playoffs. Who's going to share the ball? Who wants to hold the ball? We know that Kyrie's good when he has the ball, but late in the games, he may not have the ball. So how effective will he be when he doesn't have the ball? It's all these different questions. That's what basketball is about.
Right.
So it's hard to say, so-and-so's going to do this. And on the flip side, I always give credit to the team that won the year before. So I always say, last year was Miami. I said, okay, Miami's going to win. This year, San Antonio's going to win because I don't want to discredit the team who just won it all.
Right.
But you also got to look at the LA Clippers. Young team, young athletic team. Athletic teams give older teams a hard time because it's just you can't teach quickness.
Yeah.
You can teach the That's right. You can teach the fundamentals, but as you get older, others get quicker. So that's an issue. I think with the injuries to Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, I think those can be the type of blessings in disguise that will help catapult a team as they start their playoff push. Golden State, I still think they need to defend better, but who knows how they will be. You still got to deal with Portland, and now Dallas has added Tyson Chandler again to go along with Dirk Nowitzki and Monte Ellis along with Chandler Parsons. So it's a lot of good stuff in the game right now. I will say that this year is one of the most exciting seasons that I've been a part of since I've been outside the game.
Yeah, there's so many powerful teams in the season today. Yeah. So, final question about the Spurs style of play. I mean, they're considered to be the most international team in the NBA because their roster
They are.
Yeah, because they are. Because their roster, like say, 12 out of 15 players are from outside the US. So, and I feel Coach Pop also integrates that European style of play when he's drawing up plays for his team. So, what do you think of it, and how do you think that it compares to the other teams in the NBA?
Well, I don't think it's a European style of a European play that he's drawn up. He's drawn up a fundamental play.
Right.
And the thing is, you have players that are fundamentally sound who understands the concepts of what he's talking about, which allows that to take place.
Right.
Hey, let's drive the basketball, kick it to the guy who's open, but in the concept of we're going to start off this way. I want you to move over here. So body movement, ball movement. That's what it takes to get guys wide open shots, not just somebody just pounding the basketball trying to create on his own. I think because of the willingness of the culture in San Antonio, that's what allows that to be even more special. I know that they were big, one of the first teams to really start the process of going overseas and stashing guys for a while. Manu Ginobili was drafted, but he didn't come in the year that he was drafted. He was a second round pick. So here it is, when he finally comes over, this is after he's become player of the year in Europe. You know, that's a nice, a nice way of allowing someone to mature, and when they're ready, or when the team is ready to have him come over, then they do that. So with what he has done with that, I think it is truly special because it's nothing grand. It's very simple.
It's fundamental.
It's fundamentals. Yeah. It's simplicity, and having players that understand that it's more important to get that other guy a better shot than one shot that is okay for you. So it's better for Matt Bonner to shoot a wide open shot as compared to him shooting a contested shot. Right. Everyone understands that. Now it's about dealing with all the hubbub around the team as far as now they've won it all. What are they going to do next year?
Right. So that's it. I mean, that's all. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Visit Ekalavyas.com for everything in basketball in India.